The exact moment you were hearing these words was determined billions of years ago, locked into the fabric of reality before you were even born. In laboratories across the world right now, physicists are witnessing something that demolishes our most fundamental belief about free will. And it's called quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so unsettling that Albert Einstein himself called it spooky action at a distance and refused to accept it, even as experiments proved him wrong. Imagine two coins, one spinning in New York, the other in Tokyo. Both are blurring between heads and tails, flickering through every possibility. But the instant you slap your hand down on the New York coin and it lands on heads, the Tokyo coin stops dead on tails. No signal traveled between them, no hidden message, no communication at all. Just an instant, impossible connection that violates everything we understand about distance and time. That's quantum entanglement, and it's not a thought experiment, it's reality. When you measure one entangled particle, you don't just discover what state it's in. You force the universe to decide what its partner is, instantly across billions of light years. It's not a signal. No information actually travels between them. It's a geometric fact of reality, a correlation so profound it seems to mock our understanding of space and time. In 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to Elaine Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger for experiments that confirmed this impossible reality beyond any shadow of doubt. They proved that two entangled photons separated by over 140 kilometers displayed perfect correlations in their measurements, correlations that appear instantaneously yet preserve the cosmic speed limit because no usable information can be transmitted this way. Einstein was wrong about entanglement's implications, but relativity still holds. Your body contains approximately 37 trillion cells, each one governed by physical processes that ultimately arise from quantum laws. Your thoughts are electrical impulses traveling across neural pathways, biological events built on quantum foundations. Every decision you think you're making exists within this quantum substrate that connects everything in existence. Scientists at the Kavli Institute for Theoretical Physics have published research suggesting that quantum entanglement isn't just a microscopic curiosity. It might be woven into the underlying structure of space-time itself. The entire universe could be a vast web of entangled particles, all connected in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. If everything is connected at the quantum level, if the particles that make up your body and brain are fundamentally linked to the cosmos through this invisible web, then the notion of independent choice starts to look terrifyingly fragile. This isn't philosophy anymore. Quantum computers, which harness entanglement to perform calculations, are already operational, processing information in ways that suggest our classical understanding of cause and effect is hopelessly outdated. Google's quantum computer achieved quantum supremacy in 2019, solving in minutes what would take traditional computers thousands of years by exploiting these same entangled connections. The question isn't whether entanglement is real. It is. The question is whether you, your choices, your desires, your seemingly spontaneous decisions might be inevitable outcomes of a quantum script written at the universe's birth, playing out with the same certainty as those entangled particles, displaying their mysterious correlations across the void. In 1814, French mathematician Pierre-Simon Laplace proposed something chilling. If an intelligence could know the precise location and momentum of every atom in the universe, it could calculate the entire future with perfect accuracy. He called this hypothetical entity Laplace's demon, and some interpretations of quantum entanglement suggest that the universe itself might encode the future in ways we're only beginning to understand. Determinism has always cast a dark shadow over free will, but quantum mechanics was supposed to save us. The randomness of quantum events, the unpredictability of particle behavior, this was the escape hatch, proof that the universe wasn't just cosmic clockwork. Except entanglement reveals something far more disturbing. Those seemingly random quantum events aren't actually random at all when particles are entangled. They're correlated, connected, bound by relationships that transcend our ordinary understanding of space and time. Dr. Nicholas Geeson at the University of Geneva has conducted experiments exploring how entanglement behaves across time, research that suggests quantum correlations might extend not just through space, but along the timeline itself. These experiments on temporal correlations and delayed choice measurements remain controversial and highly theoretical, but they hint at something unsettling. If quantum mechanics operates outside our conventional understanding of causality, then past, present, and future might be far more interconnected than we ever imagined. Think about your last major decision, the career you chose, the relationship you started or ended, the city you moved to. You felt like you were weighing options, exercising free will, making a choice. But every neuron that fired in your brain during that decision followed physical and electrochemical laws, and those laws at their foundation emerge from quantum mechanics. If the quantum substrate of reality is entangled across space and time, were you really choosing, or were you simply experiencing an outcome that was always going to unfold exactly as it did? In the 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet discovered something that still haunts consciousness researchers. He set up an elegant experiment. Subjects sat watching a fast-moving clock, asked to note the exact moment they decided to press a button. Meanwhile, an EEG machine monitored their brain activity. The results were devastating. A spike in brain activity called the readiness potential appeared up to half a second before subjects reported consciously deciding to act. The decision was already underway in the brain before the person became aware of making it. The conscious experience of choice was a narrator describing actions already set in motion. Some physicists speculate that if quantum processes in the brain are subject to the same entanglement principles governing the rest of the universe, then your brain's decision might be connected to a vast web of quantum correlations stretching back to the Big Bang. This remains deeply speculative, but it's a possibility that quantum mechanics allows. Philosopher Robert Kane from the University of Texas has spent decades defending free will, but even he admits that quantum mechanics presents the most serious challenge to human agency we've ever encountered. If entanglement reveals correlations that transcend our understanding of time and causality, then the concept of an independent self making independent choices becomes philosophically precarious. You might be nothing more than a conscious observer watching your predetermined life unfold, mistaking inevitability for agency, confusing the experience of choice with actual freedom. Everything you just learned about predetermined destiny is simultaneously true and completely false, because according to one interpretation of quantum mechanics, every possible version of your life is happening right now, in parallel universes spawned by the mathematics of quantum theory itself. In 1957, physicist Hugh Everett III proposed the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and it offers an escape from determinism so radical it might be worse than having no free will at all. According to this interpretation, every time a quantum measurement occurs, the universe splits into multiple branches, each one representing a different possible outcome. You chose coffee this morning instead of tea? In another branch of reality, you chose tea. You're watching this right now? In countless other branches, you stopped watching after the first minute, or never started at all, or don't even exist because your parents never met. Dr. David Deutsch at Oxford University, one of the pioneers of quantum computing, argues that the many worlds interpretation is the most mathematically elegant explanation for quantum mechanics. He suggests that when a quantum computer performs calculations, it might be exploiting the existence of parallel universes where those same quantum particles exist in different states. This remains his interpretation. Quantum computers work under all interpretations of quantum mechanics, but Deutsch believes the many worlds picture provides the most coherent explanation for their extraordinary power. If the many worlds interpretation is correct, and many physicists consider it plausible, then your future isn't predetermined in a single sense, it's infinitely predetermined. Every possible future already exists in some branch of the quantum multiverse. Every choice you could make, you are making in some version of reality. The quantum you that decided to become a doctor exists. The quantum you that died in childhood exists. The quantum you that never existed exists. Sean Carroll, physicist at Caltech and author of Something Deeply Hidden, is one of many world's strongest advocates. He writes, "We are not choosing between futures, we are choosing which branch of an already existing multiverse we will experience as conscious observers. Your sense of free will isn't an illusion, it's the subjective experience of navigating through an infinite maze of predetermined paths, all of which are equally real, all of which are you." There's a thought experiment within many worlds called quantum immortality, and it's pure nightmare fuel. The idea, speculative and controversial even among many world supporters, suggests that from your own subjective perspective, you might never experience death. In every scenario where you would die, the universe branches, and your consciousness can only continue in the branches where you survived, where the gun jammed, where the car swerved, where the cancer went into remission. You would be trapped experiencing increasingly unlikely survival scenarios, watching everyone else die around you while you alone persist across narrowing branches of probability. This is a thought experiment, not established science, but it reveals just how disturbing the implications of many worlds can become. Physicist Max Tegmark has calculated that if the many worlds interpretation is correct, the number of parallel versions of you making choices right now vastly exceeds the number of atoms in the observable universe. You're not one person with one future. You might be an infinite array of consciousnesses, all following different paths through the quantum multiverse. And according to the mathematics, none of them are more real than any other. We actually tested this. We broke the human illusion of control to see what would happen. In 2008, Kathleen Voss and Jonathan Schooler didn't just run a study, they ran a simulation of what happens when people stop believing in free will. And the results weren't just bad, they were dangerous. They divided participants into two groups. One group read a passage from Francis Crick's book arguing that free will is an illusion created by brain chemistry, that you are nothing more than neurons firing in predetermined patterns. The other group read a neutral text. Then both groups were given a simple math test where they could easily cheat without getting caught. The people who'd just been told they had no free will, they cheated significantly more than the control group. When people stop believing they're in control of their choices, they stop making good ones. This wasn't an isolated finding. In 2014, psychologist Azim Sharif and colleagues at the University of Oregon replicated and extended these results across multiple studies. Participants exposed to anti-free will messages showed reduced helpfulness, increased aggression, and diminished sense of personal responsibility. One experiment found they were more likely to administer painful noise blasts to strangers. Another showed decreased job performance and creative problem solving. The conclusion was inescapable. The belief in free will, whether true or false, is functionally necessary for ethical behavior and human flourishing. Now imagine this knowledge spreading not through controlled psychology experiments, but through quantum physics, backed by Nobel Prizes, technological breakthroughs, and the full weight of scientific authority telling humanity that free will might be dead. Philosopher Saul Smilansky at the University of Haifa has spent decades warning about what he calls the free will dilemma. In his influential 2000 book, Free Will and Illusion, he argues that even if determinism is true, society cannot afford to fully embrace it. The consequences of widespread disbelief in free will, he writes, would be catastrophic for interpersonal relationships, moral responsibility, achievement, and the entire structure of human meaning. He advocates for what he calls illusionism, the position that we must maintain the illusion of free will even if it's scientifically false, because without it, civilization collapses. Legal scholar Stephen Morse at the University of Pennsylvania has documented how neuroscience is already infiltrating courtrooms. Defense attorneys increasingly argue that brain scans showing abnormal neural activity prove their clients couldn't control their actions. In a 2011 analysis, Morse found that while courts have largely rejected these "my brain made me do it" defenses, the arguments are becoming more sophisticated as our understanding of neural determinism deepens. Add quantum entanglement to the mix, the idea that those neural processes might be connected to cosmic correlations stretching back to the universe's birth, and the entire foundation of criminal justice starts to crack. If Google knows what you'll buy before you buy it, and an MRI knows when you'll move your hand before you move it, where are you in this process? Where is the self that supposedly makes decisions? Philosopher Dirk Pereboom advocates for a position known as hard incompatibilism, the idea that true free will doesn't exist at all. He envisions abandoning retributive punishment entirely, but critics ask, if no one is truly responsible for anything, what motivates rehabilitation? What justifies detaining anyone at all? The terrifying truth is this: whether or not quantum entanglement predetermines your future, the mere belief that it does might be enough to unravel the social contract that holds civilization together. The greatest minds in physics will tell you this if you corner them at a conference and ask whether quantum entanglement means your future is predetermined. I don't know, and neither does anyone else. After more than a century of quantum mechanics, after experiments that have confirmed entanglement beyond any doubt, after technologies that harness these quantum correlations for real-world applications, we are no closer to answering whether this means human free will is an illusion. There's a profound reason why. We're asking physics to answer a question it may be fundamentally incapable of addressing. Physicist Niels Bohr, one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics, spent decades in fierce debate with Einstein about what quantum theory actually tells us about reality. His conclusion, refined over a lifetime of work, was captured in his principle of complementarity. Quantum mechanics provides predictions about measurements and observations, but remains silent on the deeper nature of reality itself. The math works perfectly. We can calculate probabilities, build quantum computers, send entangled photons across vast distances, but the theory offers no insight into subjective experience, consciousness, or the felt sensation of making a choice. Nobel laureate Roger Penrose has argued since the 1990s that consciousness might involve quantum processes in the brain that we don't yet understand, while his critics point out that the warm, wet environment of neurons causes quantum decoherence, the destruction of quantum effects, far too quickly for them to influence thought. The debate remains unsettled, not because the science is incomplete, but because we lack even a basic framework for how subjective experience could emerge from physical processes, quantum or otherwise. Philosopher Daniel Dennett spent 50 years arguing that free will and determinism are compatible, that even if every particle in your brain follows deterministic laws or quantum probabilities, you can still be meaningfully free if your actions flow from your own desires, beliefs, and reasoning processes. Whether those desires were predetermined or not doesn't matter. What matters is that they're yours, that they make you who you are. Meanwhile, physicist Sean Carroll has pointed out that the many worlds interpretation, if true, renders the entire debate moot in a different way. If every possible future already exists in some branch of the quantum multiverse, then asking, "Is my future predetermined?" becomes as meaningless as asking, "Which universe is the real one?" You're living through one branch among infinite branches, all equally real, all equally you. The honest answer is that quantum entanglement reveals a universe far stranger and more deeply interconnected than we ever imagined, but it doesn't give us a definitive answer about human agency. The particles in your brain may be subject to quantum correlations, but the leap from microscopic quantum effects to macroscopic human decision-making remains unbridged by any established theory. Maybe the uncertainty isn't an escape hatch. Maybe it's just the bars of the cage we can't see yet. But whether this life is a script written at the dawn of time or a chaotic improvisation, you still have to play your part. You still have to wake up tomorrow. So, did you choose to watch this video, or was I always destined to be here, speaking to you right now? I guess we'll never know. This is Dark Dimensions X, and the future is already here.